minute, don't know. Got a minute of your time. Got a minute of your.
Hush up, gotta live right, and I'm never gonna let you out of my side. I've been knocked out, was a nice try, but I guess I get to keep my head on this time. Part of the creation, the relations I've got, the only one that keeps me safe, the only one you should trust. For sure, it ain't right that I have checked the speck of dust from all of its sides. Fall down, that from my height, cause I didn't see the plank I have in my eye. In yourself when no one's to be found. What keeps you eased out? What takes you off your mind? Guess you want this, I want this. Everybody in this, we should have it. Stop illusions, it's in your hands. Show yourself, reveal it to them. Take the time to recognize it.
Why are you screaming at me? I just don't understand why you're screaming at me.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to our podcast, From Vision to Success.
Vision to success, people.
Where we talk about the start.
You got it.
The end and the in-between.
The in-between.
I feel like sometimes our in-between takes a little longer because we share a little too much.
That statement sounded so wrong.
What? How? How did that sound so wrong? Anyway, I hope you're excited for our podcast for today. We are going to be diving deep into forgiveness and whether or not Miguel should forgive me.
I am not forgiving you. One bit.
Why?
What do you
He's
mean?
upset with me, so
I am. Here's the thing the plans that I had in my head, they've all backfired.
So what were your plans? Do share. I'm interested to know.
No, I thought it was gonna be like a friendly thing, like going back and forth, like you try and then I find you and like whatever.
So if you don't know what we're talking about, please head back maybe 2, 3, 4 episodes ago when he gave me this challenge about scaring him. And clearly he couldn't take his own challenge because he's been fretting, he's been upset, he's been like posting online that he doesn't like me.
Because you take, first of all, you take it too far, right? Like I give you an inch and you've taken a meter, and so
a mile. The saying is, I give you an inch, you take it a mile, not a meter. But yes, go on, please go on, my friend, my El Salvadorian friend.
We're bringing race into this. Okay, ready? Here we go. Oh, whatever.
Okay, go.
So the thing is, right? I thought it was gonna be like a friendly, like back and forth, and you know, like all these different whatever. But you've taken it too far. Like you've brought in people to not only try and whatever, but you've only
Trying what?
Huh?
You said try and whatever.
You build a team, dude. Like this is not. We're not fighting Thanos. This is not the Avengers.
we have talked about this. Success is a team sport. I always say it.
It doesn't matter. It was supposed to stay between you and I, not friggin' the entire both wards. Like, do you understand? You go to so we go to different chapels, and you like it's and not just like I wrote.
You okay?
I am
upset.
flustered. I am flustered. So I wrote, I don't like Maria. Do you know how many people message me and then they're like, what did you do to her? Like, I'm the victim here. I'm the victim here.
I have to go back and thank everybody that commented. Thank you so much, guys. I appreciate it.
And on Sunday, 2 people.
Who?
Right?
What happened?
We're not talking about them, but 2 people, they're like, what did you do to her? And I go, what do you mean? I don't like her. She did something to me for me not to like her. Like, you must have done something. And then
everybody knows though.
And then another person, it was like, well, whatever she did, you probably deserved it. Like
that was like a deep belly laugh.
This is people from my ward. My ward. People don't even know you. They're like, you probably deserve it.
They just know you. They didn't know your personality. They know you get up on your pedestal.
I don't have a pet. I
extended my hand to get you down from your pedestal.
I don't have a pedestal. And if you don't know what she's talking about, on Friday's podcast, she tried to prove that I sit on a high throne, on a pedestal, and I don't. And it wasn't out of.
It wasn't on the podcast. It was after when you and I were talking.
Oh, was it after?
Yeah, it was after. It wasn't on the podcast. I would never do that on a podcast.
You're doing it right now. You're doing it right
Not
now.
in our spiritual podcast. That one has like limits.
So something happened, and I wasn't, and this is why I wanted to talk about it today, right? But something happened that I wasn't, and I'm mad at myself. And so I even on Friday when we were talking, I'm like, I know I'm in the wrong.
But you just needed the space to just like say it. I'm sorry, I didn't provide that like
You did not
judgment-free
provide
space.
You did not provide.
No, I
that
didn't. I'm
space.
sorry.
Yeah, so now
Instead,
I know.
I told him to like if he wants help coming down his pedestal.
Yeah. Here I am opening up to Maria because there's something that's bothering me, and she tells me, "Get off your horse." Like,
Not like that. Now I feel bad. You know what I should have done?
no,
I
tell
should have.
me, tell me what you should have done.
I
Go.
should have listened to how you're feeling. I should have validated, and I should have provided a calming, nurturing environment for you to feel, like you can trust me and you can share things with me. Instead, I joked around. I told you I was going to do things that you were not happy about me doing. You look stressed when I told you that I was going to do it.
I
You're
was
like,
so
don't do
stressed.
it. What are you doing? Don't do
She's
it.
like, I'm gonna send an email to that person. I'm like, don't you dare send an
I
email.
was like, look, do you see right there?
Yeah. No.
No, I didn't.
No,
I
she-
would never do that. I was
Yeah.
just joking around.
I
But
thought
it was-
you weren't.
But it wasn't the time or place to joke around. I'm sorry. I should have read the room, and I should have provided more comfort, and then come out with the teasing after when you're able to.
Yeah, too late. I'm
Yeah,
hurt.
I learned.
I'm hurt, and I don't know if I'm ever gonna get over this.
Really?
Yeah,
Wasn't that bad?
it was horrible.
There's been worse things.
It's like you got offended over this. It's like I got more in the chamber.
I mean, there's been worse things. It's fine.
No, and I wasn't upset, and I'm fine with the teasing. Like I use humor. There's a guy by the name of Matt Rife. He's a comedian.
That's how I comfort you, through humor.
Yeah, and I'm fine with it.
Yeah, see, it works out. So you were good.
Hey, so there's a guy when his mom, I think it was his mom, either his mom or his dad passed away. His friends start sending him like a bunch of like funeral jokes, like
Yeah.
whatever. And for him, right? I'm not saying this for you to do to everybody, please.
Know the audience.
Yeah, no.
Know the audience.
Yeah. But for him, it was humor, and that's how. So they started sending him all these like funny jokes, whatever, and then he actually wrote them back and goes, "Thanks, guys. This is what I needed." Right.
Yeah.
So I'm of that caliber. I need to laugh, right? So I need to laugh.
See, I provided comfort.
That
You're
was
welcome.
not. No.
You're welcome.
I need to laugh, not to be made fun of.
I didn't know.
There is a difference.
Okay, maybe I'll readjust my. It's early on in my process for figuring this out. Okay.
Yeah. But so what happened on Friday? Something happened, and I know I was in the wrong. So something happened. I cannot go into detail as to what happened, but something did happen, and I knew I was in the wrong from the beginning, from the get-go, and I was angry. And so it was a double anger. I was actually talking to Sandra Beatty.
Okay.
So I was talking to her about it on Saturday, and I go, it was a double anger because I'm angry of what happened,
Still with you.
right?
Yeah.
But I'm even more angry that I'm angry. Like, I don't know if that makes sense. Like no, maybe not angry, but disappointed because I know that I should let it go. Because if anybody was to come to me with questions and advice or whatever, I would be giving them the advice that you gave me, right? And so that's the medicine that I would have prescribed. Everything that you were saying, I knew. Even before you said it, I knew it.
You know what the issue was, though? It was that there is a time and a place to give advice. And I think when you are in your feels, that's not the time and place to give advice.
Oh, I say that all the time. Yeah. It's no.
Yes, you do say it all the
You
time.
came to my workshop. The two principals.
Yes, absolutely. Yes, you're 100%. He does say it.
Yeah.
He does say it.
That-
He has workshops on this, so he does say it.
Yeah, that when people are stressed out at that moment, you have to acknowledge them, you have to hear them out, but they may not be in a position of listening to
You're
advice.
never in a position to
Yeah.
listen to advice. I'm like, hence, I was trying to be funny, but obviously didn't. I mean, it came out a little bit that way, but it was not the time and the place.
No, the humor worked. I don't have a problem with that. The humor worked. So when I said I don't like Maria,
Oh, I know. It was related to us ending the podcast. You were like, jokingly, you had been like, that's it. We're not doing any more podcasts. I was like, all right. I'm like, say it online then. I'm like, I'm ready for it. Do it. I was like, I'm waiting right here. Make sure you tag me. So all he wrote was, I don't like Maria Bunt.
Yeah.
And then the comments, people.
then the comments came in. So the reason why I don't like the reason why I wrote that I don't like Maria Bunt is because I knew the advice you were giving me was sound, and I hated listening to it because it was exactly what I needed to hear. And so again, going back, as a father, I was disappointed because I was really looking forward to something as a father,
Yes.
as a parent, right? And it's a sensitive area for me,
Mm-hmm.
but I needed the humor, so thank you for that. But then I was more angry and disappointed that I was feeling the way that I was feeling because I needed to like just let go and then trust God. That was the thing, is I wasn't trusting him enough.
Question for you. Are you allowing yourself to feel, or are you just shutting the feeling down and the emotion down? Because there's a difference between two. We're unable to work through our feelings if we just shut them down. But if we give ourselves the time to feel, you can actually work through it. You can work through it.
What do you mean?
Okay. So when you have your feeling in your mind, there's two things that we can do. We can shut it off and say, I shouldn't feel that way, and then distract ourselves and do something else. Or the other thing that we can, actually there's three things that we can do. The other thing that we can do is wallow in it. And when we wallow in it, it creates more anger feelings.
That's what was
right?
happening.
The third option that we can do is we can accept how we're feeling and just allow the feelings to pass. And
Yeah,
the way
I was wallowing. I was definitely wallowing. And I know it was the wrong decision,
yeah.
but I was wallowing. The iron was still hot, right? Because
Yeah.
the iron dropped on Tuesday when I found out.
So you had been feeling the way that you felt.
Right. And so then I was struggling with all these emotions. And then I told Tegan, I'm
Why
like,
didn't you tell me? You should have messaged me.
to do what?
Why can't you like share, like be like, hey, I'm angry?
Because you're going around trying to scare people and building a team against me. I don't know what I can trust and when I can trust you.
First of all, you know what, you can trust me. You can
do
trust
I?
me all.
Do
Yes,
I? What
all
happened
the time.
Friday? What happened Friday?
That's different.
How's it
That's
different?
different.
You got my own daughters against me.
We will tell you that story once we wrap up with this story. So anyway, you got the news on Tuesday.
So I got the
you
news-
decided not to tell me. For
100%.
Sure.
100%. You know, when you text me last night with those eyes, no, don't laugh because this is not funny. You know what? We were watching a show. Stop laughing. I need you to stop laughing and listen to me right now. When you send me that text message, no word of a lie, I freaking turned around. I turned around and I'm like, there's no way she got in. Like,
The psychological warfare that I've been using, guys.
do you?
It's
I was.
chef's kiss.
I was so angry because you have like this control over me that I do not approve of, right? And all I keep thinking is like, okay, Levi and Eliza are in Orangeville, so there's no way they would have let her in. I did go to the bathroom for 2 minutes. I didn't hear the dog barking, and then I'm like, did Isla went up to go get an apple? I'm like, did she let her in? So I'm like whatever, and I'm like, the dog's not barking. Is she? And so, anyways, all of that turmoil, I couldn't even watch the show because I was like,
Psychologically, you were.
is she here? So when you sent, I swear to you,
So-
when you sent those eyes,
To kind of bring you up to speed, if you're wondering what we're talking about, a few weeks ago he gave me a challenge to scare him. I've successfully scared him. I would say 3 times.
She hasn't scared me once.
First time.
She hasn't scared me once. She surprised me.
Okay, sure.
She was in places that I did not realize. Oh, you can get in there.
Right. Based on what we were discussing before, you be the judge of how surprised he is.
Have you recorded anything?
Yes.
You recorded something. You recorded.
I recorded the first one. I recorded the psychological one. And then I scared him a third time. That one, I didn't get a chance to record it because right when I turned off the video is when he ended up coming out, and I was like trying to like redo it. Hold on, let me take everybody up to
She
speed.
recorded nothing, then therefore nothing happened.
The first time I came back to the house, he was working in his office right here, and I hid under a blanket on his couch, and he came out, and I like came out of the blanket, and I scared the life out of him.
Where'd you go?
Oh man! So you should have seen his face. Enough that he was like, "Were you recording?" Like, I think I swore. Did you record? That was the first thought.
I did.
And you should see his face when he was in his son's room. He literally was pale and was like this.
That never. You're such a liar.
That's okay.
You're
Because it's
such-
imprinted in my mind. Second time.
I can make up lies too.
Anyway, so that's what happened, right? That's the first time. Died laughing. It was like a deep belly laugh too. Like the video is in my social media. You guys can see it. I'm rolling around. You can kind of see his face, but you see me dying. Okay. Second time, and this is where the eyes come up, right? I come into his house, and I think it was your mom-in-law who let me in, and I came downstairs. I wasn't going to scare you. I thought you were already here, right? And you were nowhere to be found. I was waiting like 5 minutes. So then I decided to text him, and I was like, hey, are you coming out? Because I want to scare you. Like, I'm already hiding, right? And he's like, what? He starts texting me. And so then I start texting him just eyes, like every time. He gets freaked out. So I hear him stomping on the second floor upstairs from us. Bum, 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 bum. And he's like kicking things, right?
None of this is true.
Anyway, so
None of
he
this is
takes
true.
a solid minute screaming, yelling, like,
I was trying to hold Creed
flailing.
back from like biting you.
right. And he was like, Creed, come, Creed. Where are you leaving? Where are you leaving me? Anyway, so then he finally comes in, like he's like about to attack someone, and then he sees me, and it was the psychological warfare was real that day. And then we get into the third time, which just recently happened on Friday.
Okay.
So let's dive deep into that. Tell me, why don't you explain the story, and then I'll do the.
I would love to explain how you did not scare me. So
Yes,
my
explain.
girl she's sick. She's sick in the belly. And
What?
I don't want to say it. It sounds so weird.
She's sick. What he means is she has her period. That's what he means. She's sick in the belly. What?
I don't want to say it. It's so gross.
Oh my God.
Don't call me out like that.
Well, he's sick in the belly, and people are gonna be like, "Oh my gosh, is she okay?" Yeah, she's okay. She just has her period. So anyway, yeah, go on. So she was sick in the belly. Okay. Please go on. Share with us.
So she's sick in the belly. I don't want to say.
This happens monthly.
Yeah. This happens quite frequently, once a month, which is weird. She should get it checked out. But anyways, so she's sick, and she also has like a bladder infection, right? And so
She had. I don't think she still has it.
she came back.
Oh, okay. So she's on
So
antibiotics right now.
that's what it was,
Okay.
right? So this whole thing that I'm in pain, it was from her bladder infection,
Okay.
right? And so she has this bladder infection, right? And she's also sick, and
With a period.
with with that, and so we went to this youth activity, and she was crying, here. She goes, Dad, I don't want to go. And I'm like, listen, take some medicine. If it gets worse, we're 15 minutes away. I've never called it.
There you go. Shark Week.
I've never called it Shark Week. Oh, Miguel, it's called Shark Week. Yeah. I would never disrespect women like that. Actually, I've never called it Shark Week because I'm way too afraid. But anyway, so I'm like, take some Tylenol. You already took your medicine, whatever. And if you feel better, that's great. You're there. And if you don't, you can go lay down at the couch, or I can bring you back. She goes, okay, fine. So she goes. So then all of a sudden, I see this one and my two daughters just quiet.
We're just talking.
No. Forget
We're
you.
just-
No, you weren't just quietly
we're just
talking.
talking.
You were something was happening, right? And I thought it was about the period. Because I can't say it. I'm allergic to that word. And then they're like, yeah, we're gonna in sync. And I'm like, you're not. You're like, that's not how. And this is a church. We're at church, she's having this conversation. So this whole time, I thought that they were like bonding over periods and stuff like that, which is, to me, like that a guy would never do that, right? Like, that's weird. But anyways, you're bonding over your monthly friend.
Is it better to call it menstruation?
I don't think so.
Cycle?
Cycle. I'm okay with cycle.
Okay, monthly cycle.
Monthly cycle. I'm okay with that's a good word.
There we go.
Cycle. Monthly cycle. So the cycling is happening, right? Currently.
The cycling is cycling, guys.
Yeah, the cycling is totally cycling. Full force. Like, oh my gosh, right? Like, Hoover Dam. Okay. So she goes, it's the end of the activity. She starts crying again. And so I'm like in Papa mode now, right? I'm like, oh my gosh. I'm looking at the clock and I'm like, the medicine's wearing off. So I'm like, okay, let's go. So I'm like screaming at the kid, but Levi, get your stuff. And Isla, come on. And I'm trying to like gather them all up, whatever. And so as we're walking to the car, your 3 girls from the youth, they're like, let's walk with you. And I'm like, why? They're like, let's just walk with you. Like, you want something. What do you want? And she goes, no, we want to walk you. I'm like, are you kicking me out of the church? Like, what's happening right now? She's like, we just want to walk with you. We get to the car, struggling to open it up. I'm trying to figure it out. Anyways, I finally open, and this one's laying in the back, in the van, in the middle aisle.
Like that style.
And all you see is a head just... And I was like, oh, hey, Maria.
Yeah,
how
that's
are you?
that's exactly how it went
That's
down.
exactly what happened.
That's how. The laughter, guys. It exploded. The youth were laughing. I was laughing. He was like off in a corner looking pale as always.
one of the youth, she turns to Maria and she goes, I think you scared the Spanish out of him.
I know, because they're like, we didn't understand what he was talking.
I'm like, a su madre. That's what I said. So I reacted in Spanish, and then they thought...
Oh, guys. Anytime he's scared, his arms go up.
That's
having been a witness to you being scared, that's exactly how it goes. Hands up. That's like...
That is such a lie. It's that's beyond...
Okay, you know what? We can extend this.
For what? No, we're done. We're done with this whole scare
we
thing.
We can 100% extend it. I'd be more than happy to do it. Anyway, so yeah, it was a great day. It was a great Friday. We laughed so hard. It was... My girls loved it. Like, his girls, other youth that were around. It was, I would say it was a family affair. His kids...
I'm being abused. That's exactly what's happening.
Raquel, like, everybody was on point.
And then Raquel, too. Towards the end, she goes, love you, uncle. I'm like, I don't love you back. I'm like, this is the one time when you don't have an uncle. I'm like, you're done. You're done. She goes, what? What did I do? I'm like, you know exactly what you did.
It was so great. It was like your girls and Levi, honestly, so impressed. Isla, impressed. Like, she was like, I can turn it on. I can do it.
Yeah. Yeah. And then we were in the car and I was flipping on her and I'm like, why? Like, I'm like, I totally thought that you were hurt. And she goes, all a lie, Dad. We're talking about real tears.
Yeah, it was. She is good.
I am scared because what's going to happen when she's older?
No, she's going to be good. This was just like a playful thing.
No. Yeah.
I can turn on tears. This is good. Don't worry. Mike can turn on tears. It's good. It's fine. You're gonna be okay.
You're training my daughters to be liars.
What?
Liars.
You know what I think it is? I think everybody's tired of how much like scaring or like things you have been doing to other people that now there's somebody out there doing that to you. Everybody's like, yes.
I've only scared my mom. And then maybe once taken a couple of times. But it's not a practice of mine. So I don't appreciate. I think we're done with this challenge. I think we need to come up with a new challenge, and I think we're good.
We're good.
Yeah.
One more. I think I have one more in me. But you know what? Here's the thing. It can be. I'm just gonna set a one more in me for the year of 2025.
And then what? And then what happens after that?
Then we'll reassess, I guess.
You want to cancel this podcast, don't you?
Why? It's gonna be so good.
So this morning she's like, "I'm here." I'm like, "I don't care." I'm like, "I'm not going up there," because Creed's barking at her. I'm like, "I'm not getting you."
Anyway, it took him a solid 5 minutes to come and get me, and I recorded it too. What he was saying to me, I recorded that whole thing.
Did you really?
Yeah, where you're like, "I'm gonna send my dog to attack you." No, I don't care. Let me hear your voice.
I'm like, you need to be talking at all times. I need to know where you are.
Oh, it's going to be so good. The last one. We'll do one last hurrah. You just won't know when it's coming. It'll be a good one, too.
What do you mean? Like before February? Because originally we had... why am I scared? Hang on one second.
Why are you stuttering?
Are you saying that before February or like any time in 2025? No, I don't like that.
Why?
Because that was not the original plan.
I know, but I changed the plan. You came out with a challenge, and I'm allowed to make a tweak.
That's a massive tweak. There's no way. There's no way.
One scare in 2025. That's it. Just one more. I have one more in me.
I'm having a hard time forgiving you, which is the theme of today's message.
Yes, today is about forgiveness, everybody.
And I needed this, and I'll tell you why. I'm not going to go into detail as to the reasons why, but there are...
He's like, I hate everybody right now. Starting with Maria.
Maria is like the Thanos of my life right now. She
So
is
good.
like, and here's the thing is, the amount of people that have come to your aid, I've left standing with nobody. Like, there's nobody out there that's just like, you know what, Miguel? I got you. Even Mike.
Well, Mike was, when him and I were talking about it, he's like, when he gave you the challenge, he clearly didn't know what he was heading into. And I was like, I know, right? Like,
I know.
You have no idea. I have 15 years of scaring experience under my belt.
Yeah, you need to
I
find a new
have
hobby.
scared
You need to find a new
Mike
hobby.
multiple times. I've scared my kids. Jesse's really good at it. Like,
Yeah, find a new hobby.
that's my hobby.
No.
So I just don't think you knew.
So one of the things about, I just don't like this. So I looked up, I really quickly looked up reasons to forgive.
Okay.
And so the reason why I want to talk about this openly, well, as openly as possible, there are two people that I am struggling to let go.
So you're holding on to resentment.
I'm holding on to pain.
Okay.
Yeah. And I've noticed that it's because I'm holding on to this that I'm having a hard time, number one, progressing.
Mm-hmm.
But then it's causing me the reason why I was so quick to anger on Tuesday.
Okay.
Do you understand?
Yeah.
So anytime that you have any challenges, my always recommendation to anybody is try and find out the source. And therapists normally do this, right?
Mm-hmm.
Not that I went to therapy school, but I'm having friends who are in the field and all the researches that you and I have done. Anytime they talk about like stuff like that, they always say, they always try and dig deep into your past. Like where this...
You carry it.
Yeah, this rooted from somewhere, like something happened, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so anytime anything like this happens, I try and figure out where is it stemming from.
Are you nervous?
I'm not nervous. I'm very careful in what I say.
Because you're like fidgety.
I know.
You're like very, very fidgety.
I know.
Okay, go ahead.
I want to be, and not that I'm scared about talking about it. Like off air, we can go into details and names.
But I think it's just the vulnerability of talking about it. Is that what you're feeling? Feeling awkward, maybe?
Yeah, awkward. But just again, it's the overall scare that I don't want to say too much that people realize who these two people are, because
Okay.
I also want to protect these two people.
Okay.
Right. So and then so I've come back and I've realized that part of that why I was so quick to anger on Tuesday was because I'm still holding on to these resentments. I haven't let go, but I've also had no closure.
Okay.
So, but here's the thing that I'm realizing. I looked up some of the things when you learn to forgive. These are some of the benefits of forgiving.
Mm-hmm.
Healthier relationships, improved mental health, less anxiety, stress, and hostility, fewer symptoms to depression.
Mm-hmm.
It lowers your blood pressure. It builds a stronger immune system. Improves heart health, and improves self-esteem.
Okay.
So again, when this dropped on Tuesday, all of this was like whirlwind, right?
everywhere.
It was everywhere, right? Like I was angry. I was talking to Tan. I was like, I can't believe they did this, or this was done. And when I spoke to you on Friday, speaking with you, I knew it was my fault. I knew I needed to let go. I just didn't know how to let go, and I was angry and whatever. And then Saturday came, and then Friday night.
Okay.
Friday night, I got the good news, the reversal,
Yeah.
right? And so
what we were talking about.
right, what we're talking about. And then I was even more angry with myself that I just could not trust the process, and I could not trust the Lord. So I was angry, and then I was angry or disappointed with myself that I was angry, and then it all worked out, and then I was angry and disappointed that I couldn't let go. So this whole weekend have been like, and I need to talk about it, and I need to figure it out. And Just let me, guys, if you're online right now, how do you forgive? What are the steps that you take? Because I don't think there's a cookie cutter program out there. I think different people have different ways of doing it.
I think there's different principles that can be applicable to all, but how you practice those principles can differ.
So what?
There's principles, like overall, like things.
Yeah. What are the steps? Like how do you forgive? How do you let go? What's the mentality there? Like how do you let go?
I feel like now I'm more mature with regards to this. Before I had even harder time letting go of grievances, of difficulties. I mean, you and I have discussed numerous difficulties that I've had with people and whatnot in my inability to let go. But I feel like recently it has been a realization for me that sometimes I don't mourn or grieve what has happened. Like, I think sometimes for me, I stuff it in and I get even more angry. And then it's almost like I'm mad at myself for feeling the way that I am feeling, because in my mind, I know I should forgive, or in my mind, I know it shouldn't affect me. But from my mind to my heart, there's this big step, and I haven't been able to connect the two. And I think for me, what's been really helpful is...
That's not what I'm asking.
I don't know what you're asking then.
Why are you getting feisty? Yo?
No, I'm not. I'm just wondering what you're asking.
I'm
what are
asking,
you asking?
how do you do it?
I feel it. Like, I grieve the process. Like, I think there's a moment that you can allow yourself to be upset. You can allow yourself to be hurt. You can allow yourself to see how hard this is for you. Because I have turned it to be less about the other person and more about me and why I'm feeling the way. And for me, it's grieving, right? Like, sometimes it's a lost friendship that I'm grieving. Sometimes it's like an expectation that I didn't realize that I had, that I did have, and now I have to grieve it, and I have to feel the pain, and I have to feel like the suffering that goes along with it. And then I think only through it, I'm able to feel better because I give myself time to.
So when you say, hang on, and so, okay, pretend, okay, so here's what...
That you don't understand. Pretend I don't understand what you're saying. Yes. Okay, go. What were you saying?
So, you're making it really hard to forgive you.
Sorry.
You're making it really hard for
tell
me
me.
to let go. How you've gotten 2 words against me.
I did not get 2 words against you. It's all in good fun. Everybody loves you.
Can I
And you
tell you-
know how much everybody loves you.
Can I tell you something? Tig and I, we always talked. I think we even talked about this. That if like, not that I'm planning on it, and every time I say this, I'm like, something's happening. And no, I always say, like, when people split, right? Where does the majority of the friendship would go to? Would they go towards the husband, or would they go towards the wife?
I'd
right?
still be friends with you if
No.
you guys split.
No, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about, like, if we were ever to split, I would have nobody.
No, I don't think that's true.
You would have so many alliances, it would be ridiculous. If you were to start a podcast, which is me and the camera, like, hi everybody, welcome to me.
No, listen, I could never. We have discussed how we cannot do podcasts without each other.
I can.
Okay, I can. I'm not
looking-
nearly as funny without this guy.
I'm looking forward to having a podcast.
Okay, see, cancel it. Do it. Do it. I dare you. Do it.
This is what she did on Friday, and that's why I was like, I don't like Maria. Anyways.
Okay, so what was your question?
So my thing is,
Let me provide you some therapy. I'm ready.
I don't need therapy. I need you to.
You're gonna get it. Too bad. Get it. Okay, what is it?
So you're like, okay.
Is it too?
Okay, so let me bring it back like this, right?
Okay.
You're like, okay, how do you want to work out? Well, you just need to go to the weights and you need to work out. You need to lift heavy weights. And you're like, okay, but how do you do it? Well, you go in, you just go and you grab the weights and you just need to work out. And so for somebody that doesn't know anything about the gym, well, like, what do you mean? Like, how do I use the machines? Like, what are the steps? Like, what are, with Mike, right?
Okay.
There are 15 steps to repenting, right? Like with this friggin' guy. 15, and he's
to
like,
ask for forgiveness.
to ask for forgiveness. And once you're done with those 15, there's another 34 waiting afterwards, right?
Okay, I get what you're saying.
Okay, so
What's the first actionable step?
what can I don't like feeling the way that I've been feeling.
Okay.
And so you give me a list, write it down, and tell me, what do I physically need to do to let go?
Okay, thing number 1. Are you ready?
I think we're all ready.
Okay, what you need to do, and we've talked about this, and you're a big fan of this, is to put everything you have in here on paper. You need to write. You need to sit down with a book for 5 to 10 minutes and just write. That's what you need to do. You need to go get clear on how you're feeling and what you're feeling. Because what happens when we leave everything up here, we ruminate over certain thoughts, and those thoughts become clouded and we don't get clear. So we have no idea. We have all these feelings. We keep getting angry and it keeps growing. But in reality, we don't know exactly how we're feeling. We don't know what's causing it. And we don't know if something from our past has affected what we're feeling now.
Let me write this down.
Are you actually going to do it?
I am
oh my
gonna do
gosh.
it.
Guys, this is like, he never ever takes my advice. He's always like, and then he'll turn around and say, yeah, I gave out that advice.
Well, so
Or actually, he turns around and puts it in workshops or like does it, like tells it to other people.
that's why I'm
And he
writing
was
it down.
like-
That's why I'm writing it down. I'm like, I'm going to turn this into a workshop. So, no, hang on. The reason...
Your pen is right there. You have one right there.
That's a marker for my scriptures.
Oh, really? That clear one? Oh, that's so cool.
Do you not know about this?
No, I didn't know.
So, what it is...
Okay, I think I remember these from like back in the day. Okay.
Yeah, so what you do is you kind of like... You pick the color that you want. And then once you pick the color, you just...
Drop it.
drop it and it goes whatever. So if you have different scriptures, like for me, anything that has to do with missionary work, I highlighted blue.
Okay.
Anything that, if I'm reading something that's quoting Christ, I highlighted yellow.
Okay.
If it's like a question, like the Lord asks a question, or Alma or somebody asks questions, or Peter asks a question, I highlighted green. So anything that's green, it's a question. So when I go through my scriptures,
I get it. Yes. I'm sorry. Oh,
so that's the school.
do you want to answer?
No, she already sent me a message.
Okay.
Okay, so you said.
So step number 1, we'll call it get clear.
Get clear
And what you're going to do,
is write everything down.
yep, brain dump. That's how you like to say it, right?
Mind dump.
Mind dump. A mind dump.
That's a term.
I know.
Okay, doesn't sound like you know. Like it sounds like you're making it sound like I'm making it up. So mind dump.
Brain dump. Yes, a mind dump.
I believe in mind dumps so bad. No, stop making it weird. You're such a problematic child.
Okay. So
So mind dump.
exactly.
Okay,
It
what-
has to be in a quiet place, uninterrupted, for 5 to 10 minutes at least.
Okay.
Okay.
Don't worry about the logistics.
Okay.
I want to know the ingredients, the meat and potatoes. And again,
Okay.
if there's any steps that you guys take, I want to know because we're gonna create a workshop here.
Okay. Step number 2.
You're watching it live, people.
Step number 2.
Too.
You are going to take this pen
What?
and you're going to assign it different colors for feelings and for things from your past or whatever thing that you want to do.
What?
But you're going to I'm creating it as I go. You're going to read it again. Give me a minute. You're going to what you've written.
Yeah.
It's important that you read it now.
Oh, okay.
So you have to go back and read what you wrote.
Okay.
And then you are going to, you can use like a colorful pen or you can circle different things that you're like, oh, I wasn't aware of this. Oh, okay. Like it could be feelings. It could be things that are tied to your past. Sometimes we get upset because not necessarily the situation that happened, but things from our past. And it could even go back as far as our childhood.
So you want me to read it,
Yeah, I want you to read it.
but hang on. And then I'm separating what?
What you can do is just highlight things or circle things that pop out to you, things that you didn't realize that were bothering you.
Okay. This is what you do?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So highlight
Or underline.
pop-ups.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
I'm waiting, people. What do you guys do?
Okay.
This is interesting. I'm
So-
writing a workshop. Every time I sell this workshop, you get a commission. No, you're not.
Okay. So then what do you think you do after that? Now
So-
that you know where you're at, so now you've gotten clear, you kind of have more idea of what's going on inside your mind, inside your heart. What
Yeah.
would you do next?
What I would do, what I would try, I try to do with you, and I got to, I said my inner circles and then my circle, right? So I got my inner circle people that are like 3.
Mm-hmm.
And I got my circles circle of and then that is like that involves a little bit more that I'm comfortable sharing stuff with. So I would normally what I would do is I would go to my inner circle, people that I absolutely trust, and just talk it out, air it out with them, just like what's going on, because sometimes people's experiences can and different perspectives can help guide you and aid you, right? So that's happened in the past. So I would talk it out with somebody that I absolutely 100% with my life trust.
So I think that's not what I would do as number 3. I would talk it out because it all involves gaining more clarity. And I think that's a great way that, 1, you're getting supported, you're talking to someone, and 2, maybe saying it out loud can help you reflect on what you're saying and different things, and then hearing feedback from somebody else can help you as well.
Okay.
So then after that, what would you do after that?
After that, I would probably seek. So before all of this, I would probably seek the guidance of the Spirit first.
So pray.
Us being like having faith, and then all those who are, and again, this is not a religious thing, even though it very well could be. I think involving the Lord in all of your challenges. One of the things that I've been learning, especially about the Come Follow Me thing, the program, this week's lesson is that, and not to derail here, but something really cool that we analyzed and we talked about in today's class is that Joseph had Oliver Cowdery.
Cowdery.
Cow.
Cow. Like a cow.
That's
Cowdery.
what did I say? Not Calgary. Not Calgary.
Cootery.
I did not say cootery.
Charcuterie.
I did not say
Oliver Charcuterie.
Oliver Charcuterie. You are going to get struck by lightning. So Oliver Cowdery is that he kind of like went up to Joseph and was like, hey, why don't we just rewrite the 116? Like, let's do it. Like, I'm here to help you. Let's just rewrite it, right? And then Joseph was like, well, let me inquire of the Lord first. And then when he inquired, the Lord was like, don't do it. Yeah. Even though it was a good idea, right? They still went to they still went to God and just asked for confirmation. And so I think involving whatever it is that you believe in, whether it's meditation, whether it's like yoga, or just higher, like a clearer, asking for clearer thought. I think before starting any journey, I think that should be first before mind
put it as number 1.
Yeah. Is pray, ask for help. Right? So pray, ask for help, then write everything down, mind dump, reread it, and then talk it out to somebody. After this, I don't know.
So what I have done in order to gain more clarity is I usually like to read. So I will pick a book or something to read that's related to that area that I'm struggling with.
So research.
Yeah.
So that's number 5. Research.
It's almost like you're problem solving. You're like seeking solutions, right? And then I would say number 6 would be, and number 5 would be an action plan, and number 6 would be understand that you need to be patient. That every situation is going to require its own time, and it will have its own timeline.
And I would think as the last one is engage in anything but the solution. So physical activity.
Yeah. Yeah.
Remember that thing that I said from Anxiety RX?
More thoughts do not fix your problematic thoughts. That one?
What?
Which one?
What'd I say? I didn't say that.
Okay, so what did you say?
The more thoughts doesn't fix the thoughts. Don't laugh. Don't be mean.
Yes.
Like you gotta
get out of it. It's funny because I was talking to my youth yesterday with regards to like counsel that I've received. And this actually came through prayer, and I felt like it was an impression in my heart that when I was going through that particular difficulty is that the Lord reminded me, this is part of your life, not your whole life. So in a sense, not allowing yourself to be consumed with this, knowing that this is part of your life and you're working through it, but still living the other aspects of your life.
Okay.
So that's what I would say. I would, like you said, engaging in other activities too, because as we engage in other activities, one, we get the strength needed, I think, in order to overcome the challenges that we have, and also we gain even more clarity.
So I am going to tell you something here, and this is and again, just everybody, give me your thoughts, right? So we got these 7 steps here that we just finished creating, which is awesome. So pray, ask for clarity, write things down, read it out, talk to somebody, research, be patient, and be active. Which is great, phenomenal. 7-step process instead of 15 with Mike, right? So 7-step. But here, so my question to you now is, I don't know where if it fits here, and I don't even know if it does fit in here, but where's the closure? For me, I need to talk to the person. You don't think so?
Because that's
To let them know how you feel and just to close the book on that chapter?
I don't think that's necessary in all honesty. Because sometimes
Really?
you're going to get into situations where you cannot talk to that person, right? Whether that person doesn't want to talk to you,
But
whether
what-
that person has passed on.
But what happens if, okay, that's different, right? But what happens if that person, like, so what happens if this person is part of your
Circle?
it's-
Like outer circle? Like out circle?
yeah, like part of your community,
Yeah.
and they keep doing the exact same things over and
Yes.
over and over again? Like at one point, you have to let that person know, hey, just this, every time you do this or every time you say this, it bothers me.
Yes. Now yes. Then yeah, I would have a sit down with the person.
Where?
You can do it at any point, but I would actually recommend that you do it after you talk to someone, after you do the first 4 steps.
Okay.
So anytime after the 4 steps, when you feel ready and you feel ready to go, I would have a conversation. I mean, one of the books that I read with regards to anger and dealing with anger in a positive way did say that when you come to someone and then you explain to them how you felt due to their actions, and that you respect them enough to have this conversation with them and wanting to clear out the air, or moving forward, working on it better together, then you can do it. But on the same token, you have to be ready that that person may not be able or wanting or willing.
Yeah, so I agree with that. I firmly believe that just because you're talking it out with someone doesn't mean that it's going to get fixed.
Exactly.
It's talking to someone is what I feel happens, is that you're carrying this load, like you're carrying this weight, and then only you're the one that's carrying it, because the person that put it on you, you're just carrying it. And so what I feel what happens is that when you talk it out, you're like
Sharing the load.
you're sharing. Well, you're not even just sharing, but you're like, hey, you've put this on me, and I don't appreciate it. This is what's going on, and and I don't want to carry this anymore. So it's almost like you're getting closure from letting go.
Yeah.
Now, whether or not that person changes or not, that's another story. That's a different self-help book. But at least now that person knows, and you can walk away, be like, you know what? I've made my peace. I've let this person know. If they continue, then it's on them, and we're done, right? Or it might fix the situation at the end. Like the person might come back and be like, I had no idea.
Absolutely.
Right.
So I would suggest, I think that step can be done anytime after
Talk
4.
it out.
Yeah. I think first you have to get clear. Because whenever you're coming to talk to that person, you don't want to say, you did this, you did this, you did that, right? You want to say, this action, I feel, this is the way that this action made me feel, right? Because that way, if you don't want to come out like as if you're attacking the person either, because the person may not realize, like you said, what they've done. And also when you come out attacking, there's a wall. Defensiveness right away, right?
Yeah.
So if you want to have a conversation, then it's important to get clear on how you feel, what you feel, and I think talking it out with someone else will help as well.
I think it is definitely what happened here? I think it's number 8. And I'll tell you why I think it's number 8. Because after you've talked it out with somebody, you do your research on what's going on. You're patient. You're letting the fire subside. Because the last thing you want to do is run into a burning building.
Yeah.
Right.
I always say give it 24 hours.
Yeah. Last thing you want to do is run into a burning building, right? And so be patient, be active, so get your mind clear. So now your brain is less fog, and you've done the research and you feel better. You have tools, you have techniques. So after you've connected with people and you've gotten advice, you read it out, you've done all these different things. So after all of this is done, then all of this is to support talking to that person and letting them know, hey, this is how I felt. This is the reason why I feel the way that I feel. I'm in a much better headspace and all these different things. And just now this is what's going on. And Yeah.
I definitely think that's great. I'm like, that's a healthy, immature thing to do. That's for sure. I'm like, to me, I feel like anxious talking to a person. I have
Yeah.
had difficult conversations and I don't shy away from having these conversations. But every time I think about it, I'm like, dang, I hate having those conversations.
It's a confront.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to take these 7 steps before I talk to you on Friday
Okay.
because I don't know if I can forgive you.
Okay. I understand. Well, clearly you confronted me. You took number 8. You put it
I
at
went-
number 1.
I went straight to number 8. I'm like, listen, this is how you make me feel.
No wonder you had it up your sleeve. You're like, all right, this is all the problems that I have with you, Maria.
So this is a pretty good list. So guys, how to forgive, right? Let me search. So I did pull up, and again, I haven't looked at this, right? But I did pull up, some steps to forgive and whatever. One of the things that they said is practice empathy.
Mm-hmm.
Like put yourself in there, and I think that could be a part of, the talking it out and the research. Like all of this
Mm-hmm.
is just being able to see other people's point of view. Maybe when you talk it out to somebody, if they're a good friend, they'd be like, well, have you considered how that person feels and if it's a good conversation, right?
Yeah. I think the more you learn, the more you realize that people do things is not always related to you. It's related to the life that they're living and the lens that they see it.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Which says here, it goes, ask yourself about the circumstances that may have led other persons behave in such a way, right? And then number 3, reflect on times when others have forgiven you.
yeah.
Check this out. Write in a journal.
Check it out.
Good-
Check it out, people.
Good job, Maria.
Ew, why is your hand clammy? That's
Don't-
disgusting.
First of all, you made fun of you made fun of my skin last week, and now you're making fun of my hands.
I don't, hand, face, like this. Double duty.
So last week, she's like, "Why is your skin so dry?" And I'm like, "I just prefer matted."
Mad at skin.
And then so write in a journal, pray, or use a guided meditation.
Mm-hmm.
And then number 5 is be aware that forgiveness is a process.
Mm-hmm. It takes time. I think sometimes we try to rush to it, when in reality, you need to feel the feels. Feelings are so important, but I think sometimes we avoid them, or we, what is it called? What's that word that I used before? I forget now. We avoid them, or we kind of just want to have a pity party over the feelings that we have, as opposed to feeling the feels, feeling the sensations that it's creating, and then reminding ourselves that we'll be able to get through them.
So Bev here is writing a journal, a book. Thanks, Bev. All right. So she says, after the Shark Week comment, she goes, I think that you need to gain perspective of other persons as well. You shouldn't assume.
Yeah.
And can I tell you something?
Mm-hmm.
Like Bev and I, we go head to head here a lot because she keeps using all these big words. But I gotta.
You understood all that?
I understood everything she said here. So I gotta give credit to where credit is due, because that's exactly why I was angry on Tuesday. I was assuming that the reason why it was a personal hit against me, right? And then came Friday night, when like the dust cleared and everything was whatever. It was never about me. Like it was never about
That's why
me.
I'm telling you. Like,
What? What are you telling me?
Come off your pedestal. Like, get off. I am here to give you a lending hand. Miguel, not everything is about you, okay? People are going to be okay. I promise. I'm just saying. I'm just agreeing with you. It wasn't about you.
I'm afraid to open this up to like looking for a new host, because then Bev's gonna apply and she's gonna be worse. She's gonna be like,
Bev, coming over, replace me.
according to my research, based on the theological senses of the hermosphere.
Hermosphere?
Isn't that a word?
Atmosphere?
Atmosphere. That's
Hermosphere? I was like, where is this leading?
Yeah, there's no such word as hermos. You know what? This probably is a word, hermosphere.
No, let's just keep going.
Okay.
Like, don't get distracted.
I know. Shiny things. Hang on. Usually perceived as reality different than. Oh, wait. She goes. They usually perceive reality difference from you, and what you take one way, they might be taking another way. I agree. More often than not, a situation is not really thin enough that it can be divided into two. Ooh, I like that.
I don't understand. Hold on. More often than not, a situation is not really thin enough that it can't be divided into two.
Yeah.
Okay.
You didn't get it?
I don't understand.
I got something that you didn't?
I don't understand.
I am so smart.
Give me a minute. Let it simmer in my mind. Let it simmer. I mean, you do know that I've been hanging out with Miguel, right?
That is not the answer. That is not the answer at all.
I feel like when I'm here, my smart level comes down. I'm just kidding.
She goes, all my years of education of being a nurse, a hemisphere.
I feel like they're fleeting from me.
She's like 4 years of education out the window.
Out the window. I have no idea.
So more often than not, so Bev, hang on one second. Maybe I'm not understanding it now. So more often than not, let me put this up here on the broadcast. Okay, so more often than not, a situation is not really thin enough that it can be divided into two. So meaning that the situation is thick. And because it's thick, it can't be divided into two.
It can't.
It can't because it's thick. You can't divide something that's thick and big. So
I don't think that's what she means.
So what she's saying is that more often than not, it's not thin that it cannot be divided. So then therefore, you got to take on the whole weight of this
I don't
thick
think that's
item.
what she means.
That's exactly what it means.
I don't think you understood either. You wrote it down and you don't even understand.
I didn't write it down. She wrote it down. It says here, more often than not, a situation is not really thin
Enough that it can't be divided into two. It means that we both have a role to play when things go wrong. Thank you, Bev. Thank you.
That's exactly what I said. That it's thick, but hang on, where's the thick and the thin come in?
Anyway, let's move on. It's okay. Well, I'll explain it to you. Now that I know what it means, I'll explain it after the podcast.
I understood the last part. Yeah, the both don't roll a play. What is the thick and thin of it?
There's nothing saying it's thick. You're the one that brought it in.
It says it right there.
More often than not, a situation is not really thin enough that it can't divide it into two. And now I get it because she says that if you look at the situation, there will always be two parts in that situation.
So it is thin enough to break it into two.
Yeah, but it has.
But why is she saying it's not thin enough?
Okay, meaning that it's not something that can only be one person is right, or there's only one way to look at it. It's always gonna be thin enough, or it's always gonna be thin. Hold on.
See what you do, Bev. This is what you do. I need you to understand that we've spent now 5 minutes on this thing over a comment that you wrote.
Okay, let's.
Do not appreciate that. Keep it simple.
Keep the words. There we go. It's not usually one-sided.
We're not 100% innocent. What does that even mean?
I'll explain it after. Okay, let's keep going. I'll explain it. Don't worry.
Okay.
It'll be okay.
Don't make fun of me. You didn't get it either. You still don't know it.
No, I understand it now with the explanation.
No. I understand the second part too. I don't understand this whole thin enough thing.
Okay.
Is she body shaming me?
What?
Is that what you're doing, Bev?
Shush. Okay, let's keep going.
Okay, so we got our 8-step process here. Are you guys ready for this? We just created this live. We're going to call this the Thin Enough program. You know what? That's what we're calling it.
It makes no sense. That title does not make sense.
The Thin Enough? That it can be broken up into 8 sections because it can't be divided into 2 because how heavy it is.
Okay.
The Thin Enough. And
you're going to reflect back on this and you're going to be like, what?
And if people ask, what does it mean?
Hermosphere sounds like an air surrounding.
What does Mike say?
Hermosphere sounds like the air surrounding women. You just created a new word, hermosphere. Okay, let's keep going into the forgiveness process.
I bet you anything that word exists.
Okay, let's head into the 8.
Look it up.
I will look it up after the podcast.
No, I want to look it up so we can let the people know that I'm not so dense. Ready?
Okay, I'm ready.
This is the Thin Enough program. Pray.
Okay. Okay.
Why are you laughing?
The Thin Enough program. Pray. Okay, go.
All right. So you got to pray. You got to ask. And when we say pray, you just got to ask for a higher power. You got to ask for clarity that you're about to start a journey of thinning. Forgiveness. Then number 2 is get clear. So do a mind dump. After that, you got to read everything that you wrote out, because sometimes now that it's on paper, certain things will stick out. Number 4, talk it out with somebody you trust, somebody that you completely trust. Do your research, look up books, podcasts, anything like that has to do scriptures, anything that has to do with that set topic. Number 6, you got to be patient. This is going to come not at your time. It's going to come at the right time. Ooh, bars. Did you just hear what I said?
Yeah.
Okay, ready?
Part of your thinning process. I see it.
Things will not come at your time. Ready? They will come at the right time. Oh, jeez.
There we go.
People.
You look constipated. I'm just saying.
That's so rude. I have to go to the bathroom. Ready? Here we go. So be patient, right? Things will not come at your time. They will come at the right time. Number 7 is be active, right? So you gotta engage into something else than just thought, right? You gotta get your mind whatever. And then once you're ready, there needs to be some form of confrontation. And when I say confrontation, it doesn't mean like you're gonna go head to head.
Maybe resolution. You can call that resolution, where you're actually
No, confront.
Okay.
Because you got to confront. Because there may not be a resolution, or the resolution could probably be like you guys go your separate ways, and then that's the end of the friendship, or that's the end of that relationship, whatever. But there needs to be you need to confront. You need to confront that person, right?
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Thin Enough program. It is thin enough. And I'll tell you why it's called the Thin Enough.
Okay.
Are you ready for this?
I'm ready.
Sometimes, here's the thing are you ready? Oh my gosh, I'm just full of bars today. Are you ready for this?
Okay.
Sometimes our problems, we make them out to be purple elephants.
There's the purple elephant. There we go. It has come out of its hiding for 2 years. It's been hiding in this.
It has. It really has.
Purple elephant.
So it's in one of my workshops, I always talk about the purple elephant. So the purple elephant is, and this is something that I've made up, and I'm pretty proud of it. So the purple elephant is sometimes we make our problems so big enough as an elephant, and then we try and make him so unique enough as purple, right? Like the purple elephant. Purple elephants don't exist. And so a lot of the problems that we do have, they're small enough for us to be able to find resolutions towards. But if we just break them down into process, right? And so if we're focusing on the problem, that's the only thing that's going to grow, right? And so in this case, the Thin Enough program, right, is if you just break it down into these simple eight steps, then you're going to have resolution because they're thin enough to be broken down into 8 sections. Yeah. I am just dropping bars today. I think that
title may need some work, but sure.
I love the title, the Thin Enough.
You can make it work. I feel like your superpower is to make any random thing work with your workshops. Nobody else could do it. I think you could do it.
So I'm going to be, yeah.
What do you think? Do you feel better about this? What do you feel? Do you feel like you have more clarity?
So I feel better. I feel better because it has, so I feel better because there was a resolution on Friday night. I'm still not proud of myself because I let myself get to that level of anxiety that I couldn't just trust the process. Does that make sense? So I feel better of when it dropped on Tuesday, I felt better. I felt better over that. But I'm still like, man, and you know what? It's not angry, whatever. It's just disappointed. But I think the good thing, and this is where I'm okay with, I like feeling disappointed because I'm gonna try really hard to never feel like this way again. The anger goes. How
could you never feel disappointed again?
No, and disappointed in myself and not trusting the process.
Okay.
So that can be easily avoidable. If something happens and I'm going to get angry again, right? Whatever, I haven't ate the thin enough program.
But I think you still can feel disappointed in what's happening. It's
No,
just a
not-
reaction to
Not
it.
that. I'm disappointed in myself for reacting the way that I reacted. I
Okay.
don't want to feel like that again.
Okay.
If when something happens, I'm going to be disappointed at what's happening,
Yeah.
but I'm going to trust the process. I want to trust the system. I want to trust my savior. I want to trust the process, right? All that other stuff. I said it twice. I know I said it twice. I realized I said it twice. Don't make fun of me.
It's so important that you said it twice.
Yeah, it is. It's so important that I did say it twice.
Yeah.
But anyways, I never want to feel the way that I felt in the way of that I just don't trust God enough to. Yeah, it was a mistake I made, and I'm fully aware.
They're
of it.
lessons learned, right?
It
And like
is.
these things happen so we can learn lessons and we can
And I
grow
always
from
say,
them.
and I always say, lesson learned, lesson taught, right? Because I've learned this lesson, I'm able to teach it, and I'm able to learn from it, and I'm able to make better of it.
There you go. That's it, people. That's it.
I'm gonna try really hard to forgive you.
Okay.
I'm struggling. What did you learn?
What did I learn? I learned
You got 10 seconds.
that.
I'm joking. Fast.
What did I learn? No, I learned I learned that you have grown so much in being able to open up about your problems and things that are going on in your life. Before, if you go back to our first podcast, you were always like, yeah, this, and you gotta do this, and you gotta, no, man, that's never happened to me. No, let's not talk about me. But look at you now. You're like, this podcast is gonna be about me. So, proud of you.
I learned to have clammy hands.
Yes. I learned that too.
And then I gotta
dab your face. Dab the face,
make sure
moisturize.
you like, share, subscribe. Love you.
Got a minute, don't know. Got a minute of your time. Got a minute of your. Let it.
I sure gotta live right, and I'm never gonna let you out of my side. I've been knocked out, was a nice try, but I guess I get to keep my head on this time. God of the creation, the relations I've got, the only one that keeps me safe, the only one you should trust. For sure, it ain't right that I have checked the speck of dust from all of its side. Fall down, that from my height, cause I didn't see the plank I have in my eye.